Hello. So first of all, I want to thank Mario Mignone and the organizer for their invitation, with a special thanks to Karen Berkey and the Institute for Religion, Culture and Public Life at Columbia University. So my paper concerns the sharing of sacred places in the House of Mary, Meryem Ana Evi in Turkish, located close to Ephesus, the city of Ephesus in Turkey. This Catholic shrine is regarded as a possible site for the Assumption of Mary. After the crucifixion of Jesus, she would have followed the Apostle John to Ephesus, where she would have spent her last day. The holy site was only discovered in the late 19th century by French missionaries, and it grew enormously in popularity in the 1950s. Then large numbers of Muslims spontaneously started to come and to pray in this sanctuary. Why Mary? She's a pivotal figure for Christians and Muslims. For the former, she's the mother of God. For the latter, the mother of the prophet Jesus. She is the only woman in the Quran to be referred to simply by name, whereas all the other female characters are described as the daughter, wife or sister of a given man, or using various other descriptions. What's more, Mary is the central character in two surahs of the Quran, which give us an idea of the theological significance. She's mentioned more often in the Quran than in the entire New Testament, 34 times in the Quran and only 90 times in the New Testament. So the Quran also mentions several elements that are typical of the Christian traditions, like the birth of Mary, her presentation at the temple, the Annunciation, the virgin birth, and the nativity of Jesus. In other words, she embodies the qualities of a universal mother who transcend religious boundaries. For many centuries and to this day, Muslims still enter Christian holy places to pray the holy figure of Mary. This is the case at Ephesus, but not exclusively. On a theoretical perspective, this communication is a contribution of the pilgrimage studies concerning the shared sacred site in the Mediterranean context. I think that my colleague Johnny G. Albera will give you and us a more synthetic overview just after me. Several recent studies show that religious boundaries are often crossed because of the power and efficiency of holy sites officially affiliated to only one religion. Despite the theological differences, the three religions of the book share a number of elements in terms of beliefs, rites, figures, and holy places. These crossovers, however, are not devoid of ambiguity and can also lead to conflict, partition, and division. So, the House of Mary is one of these holy sites visited by Christians and Muslims, and I will describe and analyze this sharing. I already told it, sorry. How and why the sanctuary has been open to followers with different faiths, but also to tourists, because nowadays the place is a very touristic place. How space is negotiated, and how the different narratives and ritual practices are articulated. So you can see in this map, you can geolocalize Ephesus. On this map, on the Aegean Sea and close to the city of Izmir, the old Smyrna. The House of Mary is located 7 kilometers away from the city of Selçuk and from the archaeological site of Ephesus. It was discovered in the late 19th century by French missionaries following the description in reported vision of Anna Katharina Emmerich. So, in order to know more about this discovery, I have to say some words about her and to go to Germany. So she was a Roman Catholic nun in the beginning, in the 18th-19th century, and she was beatified in 2004 by Pope John Paul II. Known as a schismatic, she was bedridden for a long time and had a lot of vision of the Jesus and Mary's lives. For instance, she gave very detailed description of the last virgin home in Ephesus, located in a hill above Ephesus. And you can read, I don't read it, but you can read some extract of the quotation of about her vision. And she's locating the place in Ephesus. Okay. In the second part of the 19th century, this narrative that you can read was spread in the Catholic world and contradicted the main tradition that the tomb of the Virgin was located in Jerusalem. Then let me show a picture of the other side, the other main site of the tomb of Mary in Gethsemane at the entrance of Jerusalem, where I was working last summer. So this is just, for instance, a picture during the pilgrimage of the Assumption or Dormition for the Orthodox people. It is also a shared sacred site, but because of Mary also, because she's a pivotal figure. But this is not my point today. Let's go back to Ephesus. In 1881, a French priest, l'Abbé Gouillet, discovered a small building on a mountain overlooking the agency, and he believed that it was the house of Mary described by Anna Catherine Emmerich. But most of people did not take this discovery seriously. 10 years later, after also, two French Lazarist missionaries from Smyrna rediscovered the same site. All the sites, all the details are described in a very interesting book by the Father Poulin. You can see the cover on the right side. What's interesting is that the Greek Orthodox from the nearby village of Keringe came every year to this chapel to celebrate the Dormition. So this is another word for the Assumption of Mary, and they call the place Panayakapoulou in Greek. It means doorway to the Virgin. Then a French sister living in Smyrna bought the land of the mountain, which became a French and Catholic property. The Archbishop of Izmir came to visit the site. In 1896, the Vatican and Pope Leo XIII recognized it, so the site, as a holy place, but not as the official site for the Assumption. So let me show some pictures of the missionaries, the French Lazarists that discovered the site. And you can see also there the statue and the chapel, which was in ruin, and the sister that bought the land. The pilgrimage grew until the First World War and was interrupted during the Greco-Turkish War that triggered the tragic population exchange between the two countries while ending the cosmopolitanism of Smyrna. The land of the House of Mary was even confiscated by the new Turkish state, new Turkish administration, but the Lazarists managed to get it back in Court of Cassation. So my second part is about the reopening of the site in the 50s. And this is the period when the Muslim came spontaneously massively to this shrine. So in 1950, the proclamation of the Assumption by the dogma by the Vatican gave a second life to the House of Mary. So the Turkish state started to be interested on it because of the touristic interest of Ephesus in general. Indeed, thousands of tourists from all over the world already came to visit the archaeological sites. So there was an evident economic interest. So the state bought the land, and the House of Mary was declared as national. This holy place knew a remarkable development and spontaneously attracted thousands of Muslims with special devotion to the Mother of Jesus. It's interesting is that the Catholic clergy do not try to stop this Muslim attendance. So to give the background is that I heard about this phenomenon when I was working during my PhD on Louis Massignon. So he's considered as one of the greatest French scholars in Islamic studies in the 20th century. He held the chair of Muslim sociography at the Collège de France, etc. And he dedicated his whole life to studying and understanding Islam, being also a Catholic believer. Few people know that he was also secretly ordained as a priest the same year, in 1950. It is important. In the Catholic Melkite rite, means it was the Oriental rite in Arabic. So in this religious perspective, he became an interreligious entrepreneur. And he is the founder of the pilgrimage that Karen was talking about. The subject of my PhD is a Christian-Muslim pilgrimage in Brittany, France, dedicated to the seven sleepers of Ephesus, and this is the link with Ephesus. So I studied his private archives that shows that he was very involved in the development of the House of Mary, and he wanted to underline the Muslim attendance. With the Archbishop of Izmir, their aim was to reconciliate Islam and Christianity under the banner of Mary. Then, during this period, the number of Muslims even exceeded the Christians. For instance, in August 1960, in only one day, there was 2,000 Muslims and 600 Catholics. So the heterogeneity of attendance was also valorized in the journal Our Lady of Ephesus, which account for pilgrims, their international provenance, as well as the miracles. Some cures directly concern Muslims. It is one way of promoting a universal dimension of the miracle working power of Mary beyond religious boundaries. So to narrate these miracles concerning Muslims is a classic way to enhance the spiritual magnetism and power of the shrine. So just after, so you can see, maybe you can read, it was in several languages. So there was an article, for instance, I put the slide about the Muslims and Mary. And just after the opening of the 50s, the tours of religion, just after the opening to the religion of this, during the Second Vatican Council, the importance of the shrine was confirmed by the visit of Paul VI in 1967, John Paul II in 1979, and Benedict XVI in 2006. As a transition, I will quote the Pope Francis during his last travel in Turkey last year. So this is my third part about the contemporary pilgrimage. So I quote the Pope, and he declared, "This land is important for every Christian." So Turkey is important for every Christian because of the presence near it. So nowadays the shrine is visited every year by hundreds of thousands of visitors, pilgrims and tourists, Christians and Muslims, from all over the world, making it an important pilgrimage site, but also an economic center of religious heritage in Turkey. So I want to show you some picture now to see the pilgrimage circulation into the sanctuary. So you can see the hill and the buildings of the monastery, and for the monks, most of them they are Capuchin, then you can see the entrance of the site, where silence are required. And then you can have this is the chapel of the House of Mary. Maybe some of you went there. It's a very small building, we built in the 50s also. And inside of it, in the hall, you can see the portrait of Anna Catherine Emmerich, so the visionary that I mentioned before. And then you have the chapel with the statue of Mary. And just after there is another room considered as the bedroom of Mary, where she was sleeping when she was living there, but I will show it later. Outside of the chapel there is a candle spot, and most of the women on the picture here are Muslim also. Then there is a sacred fountain with holy water, because it was, or it will be, I don't know, it was the Mary Spring. And then in a very interesting place, which is the main attraction of the open air circuit. This is the wishing wall, and every visitor who come, write something or put something into this wall, a piece of paper or writings or clothes, and it is a ritual shared by Christians and Muslims. So this place is very polyvalent and interesting. I will talk about it later. And then you have also the shop with souvenirs, etc. Ooh. Okay. Alors. I'm not sure. I don't know what to choose to say to you. Oh, I can maybe just improvise and talk with the. So this is one of the friar, the Capuchin friar on the wall. I had some picture. I have movies to show you, but I think in 5 minutes I cannot. There was one here. This is an interesting photograph. You can see this. She's a Sufi woman, adept in the Mevlevi Brotherhood of Rumi, Jalaluddin Rumi Brotherhood, and she came every year to the site. And I met her twice in the Christmas day. And for instance, she's reading now the Surah of Maryam, because Mary has a Surah in the Quran. And what's very interesting, she has a piece of host, Christian host. The white piece, okay, maybe here. You got it? Okay. It's not consecrated, but a nun offered it to her, and she keep it in her Quran, and she is eating little small part. Even if it is not consecrated, to her it's very relevant and important because of the power of Mary. And the same woman you can see in the next picture, she is in the chapel, and there is the nun, Catholic nun. She's cleaning the statue, and you have 6 women or 7, I don't know, 6 there, praying, turned to Mecca, praying in the chapel, and there is no problem for the sister and for the monks. Other pictures, you can see the same ladies with the friars and with the sisters, the nuns, and they exchange cakes and offerings, like a ritual of hospitality. There is a way to receive, to be hosted and hosted by the Christians. This is the Christmas day. I have a movie about the Christmas day in this place. This is interesting for the Christmas Mass. During the Mass, most of the audience is Muslims also. Most of the people into the church are Muslim. They don't know what to sing, what to say, when they have to stand up or no. But the priors, they try to manage it, and also the mass is in Turkish. It's not a proselytism, but it's just to testimony or to talk about Christianity. And I don't know. I have a little movie, like 3 minutes. Okay, and it will be the conclusion. So.
Maria è una donna. La caratteristica della donna è che è l'accoglienza in tutti i sensi, è la maternità. E lei è qua come madre e come donna che accoglie per i suoi figli cristiani e musulmani. Le persone che vengono qui e vengono a pregare, questa figura così discreta, così dolce, così accogliente, materna e nello stesso tempo appunto ritirata, silenziosa, penso che sia un invito molto concreto a vivere anzitutto quello che proviamo a credere, no? Le persone vengono qui a pregare che Allah gli dia dei figli e poi ricevono la grazia, ottengono i figli e vengono qui a ringraziare Maria. E io ho sentito di donne che non riuscivano ad aver figli, che facevano fatica, musulmane, poi sono venute qui a pregare e sono riuscite ad avere un figlio.
Santa Maria, Madre di Dio, prega per noi peccatori, adesso è l'ora della nostra morte. Amen.
Ave Maria, Passalis, Visgna Caraci, Scilive, Versas, Nastere, Tuae, Seranza Nava, Nezia Pilgrims, Rasenine di Kadonarena, mi pare che sensi, mi pare che Tirsenine vada messa. Ave Maria, Messia, Visgna Caraci.
I primi tempi che io ero qui, veniva la gente e io gli dicevo sì, lì giù c'è il muro con le preghiere, no? Così, come per dire una cosa turistica. E poi mi è iniziato a capitare questa cosa, leggere dei foglietti, leggere delle lettere. Poi delle volte la sera, quando ho chiuso il santuario, io vado giù a guardare questo muro, a toccarlo, a sentire proprio con le mani. Tu vedi questo muro pieno di fogli, no? E non ti rendi conto che in questi fogli c'è una sofferenza, una quantità di tragedie, di morti, di malattie, di desideri, di bisogni e di afflitti, incredibile. E allora delle volte leggendo questi foglietti tu capisci che quel muro è la concrezione della preghiera di migliaia di persone, è la concrezione visibile. Wow, il muro è il mondo.
Abi, abi çağırır mısın? Tamam hadi.